good morning. Or if you're in a different time zone, good something. So I'm going to invite some friends. And I think I'm just inviting a few friends, just like I always do. So last week, the discussion was about suicide awareness. And I put the abridged edition on YouTube. So if you want to see that, if you didn't see the one from the TipTop from last week, it is on YouTube. And I also wrote a blog about it. Today I'm going to continue that conversation. I've had a couple conversations or read things on Facebook about suicide and suicide prevention and mental health, and it feels like it's time to continue to talk about that. Hi, Dara. I'm glad you're on here. I'm going to continue to talk about the subject I had last week, which was suicide awareness. I just feel like it's such an important topic, and we can do this. And I also have some ideas for people and to be able to feel supported and all that. First, I wanted to say that a lot of times, and I just did a couple paintings on it, which is also on my Facebook page and my Instagram account, about what suicide might feel like for people. I talked about how there's different kinds of suicides and people commit suicide for different reasons. What I didn't elaborate on was suicide and homicidal behavior is very similar. If somebody is homicidal, they're also often likely to kill themselves. It's just, so what we have though is some raw data about when people are homicidal, how they kill, what they're doing, what's going on with them. So we know that there isn't one stop fits all for people that commit murder. So it's important to recognize that that's also true when people commit suicide. It's a very complicated personal choice. Or not. It could be an act of passion and they just went boom, just like manslaughter is. What I wanted to talk about was, having talked to a few people, is two things came out. One is not feeling supported. That is, they felt like their world was so bleak that nobody was there and they didn't feel supported. Now, I'm saying feel because feel is different than the actuality of being supportive. They may, in fact, have had people that would be more than willing to reach out to them if they had known. Rather, it's the feeling of being isolated and not supported that may cause people to go inward and get more depressed. So that's one thing. Two, oftentimes when people start to feel isolated in their thoughts and sad, they will drink or they will do drugs. Well, it also affects their balance and their mental health. So if they're already feeling isolated, when they start drinking, for instance, heavily, they feel more isolated. It becomes more of a problem. Oftentimes, we like to push under the rug our own pain about family members that have had mental health issues. And in fact, I'm here to say, I think every family has somebody in their family that has mental health issues, if not every individual person. The idea that we are all like born and die and have no angst and no off balance moments seems to me pretty far-fetched. Life doesn't work that way. Some of the things that I think would be useful for people in terms of raising their vibration is using aromatherapy. It's important to use therapeutic aromatherapy because sometimes they have mixed with other things, so you don't have the therapeutic grade. One easy way to tell is if you take a Kleenex and then you, so I'm going to pretend this is a Kleenex. It's my, anyway, so here's the Kleenex, and you put a couple drops on it, and then it will spread. If there's a dark edge around the Kleenex, it means it's not a pure essential oil. It means it's not therapeutic. So that, and a couple of the ones that I really like is I like grapefruit because it brings joy to life and it's a fairly easy one. However, if somebody is feeling very, very vulnerable, I like the idea of using sweet orange. Sweet orange is kind of a nice, soft essential oil, and it's good for babies also. So then you know that. And of course, people know about lavender and all that, but not everybody likes lavender. I also like bergamot. I like grounding ones too. I like frankincense. I like frankincense because it's a dark, low note, for want of a better term. So it helps with the lower vibration of our bodies. Because if we're talking about people that are feeling suicidal and isolating, that is definitely, can be, I'm not going to say definitely, is often the lower chakras, which is the tailbone chakra, basically, the base chakra, which is red. And Michelle Lowbridge uses the word courage for that one, that in order to be in this world, we need courage. And so it's a very earthy kind of chakra. The second one that it also affects is the sexual or creative chakra. Sometimes we think that the orange chakra is just sexual, but it's in fact, it's the connectiveness. It's the connectedness with people. It's knowing that people are human and not just spiritual essences of perfection, because we aren't, So that's, essential oils that work with those chakras are also good. People will also sometimes close their hearts off because they're in their head and not in their heart. So if people, when they're feeling disconnected, can actually put their hands on their heart and go out, back in, back out. You see how when you open your arms up, and you can practice it with me. Hello. Anyway, you could open your heart and close it, and open and close. I had a conversation with somebody, another conversation. This was a great week for talking about suicide prevention and suicide. And we both had agreed that when we often have felt suicidal, it's because there's some loyalty of staying put. It's like we don't want to move forward in our life. So the only thing we can do, this is very dramatic, but it's not often talked about, is to kill ourselves. If we really have to change, if we have to give up something or take something that we want to believe is true and we really know it's not, then in our heads we think it would be better to kill ourselves than move forward. It's like a come to Jesus moment, for want of a better term, where you have to really get true to yourself, and not leaving you there when you feel like that, when you're feeling like I can't do this. Okay, then you go into yourself, you breathe into yourself, and you say, think about all these feelings. Just stay there, just stay there, and put yourself in prayer. say some prayers before you do it if that will help, because it will definitely raise your vibration and you will be much more in safety. And just stay with those feelings. You might be surprised. I'm always surprised at how I feel about things. Hi, Damon. Anyway, because I think I know how I feel, and then it turns out that's not always how I feel. So I think, again, it's all those things. And I'm going to kind of reiterate that what is the most important thing is talking about how you feel or how other people feel, talking about feelings, not what you think you should do. You know, we live in a culture that is very applauds people for their successes as if they got there by themselves, you know, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, we are social animals. Just to get you a hint, nobody pulls themselves up by their bootstraps. People get opportunities and they take them or they don't. But nobody is an isolated incident of love and like. They just aren't. It's not the way we're made. So I'm encouraging people to continue to talk to their friends about suicide awareness, suicide feelings, suicidal people that have committed suicide and we're grieving for them, all of that. The more we get this idea that it's shameful and hidden, the more people will commit suicide. And so we, as a group, as people, need to get out there and talk. So that's, I know I'm on my soapbox, but there you go. So take care. And today was TipTop Tuesday. And I will reiterate the points. 1, there's to talk to people. 2, to recognize that just because you're not feeling supported isn't necessarily what's really going on. 2, aromatherapy and is very helpful. I'm recommending, I need some water. Water is also very helpful, and exercise, all of those things. But mostly when you feel like you want to be a crumb bum and just stay in bed, you need to get out of bed. You need to keep moving. And a friend of mine is doing, Michelle, who's the one who's talking about not feeling supported, is doing this free, and she's amazing. She can charge a lot of money for this free intuitive kind of thing that, and she's had 7. She's going to be doing them a couple times a week. I'm not explaining this very well. It's called abundance activation, and part of being abundance is feeling supported. And one of the ones she did, which is why I was thinking about it, is feeling supported, and just really honoring that. So I'm going to put that link down below because I think it's so helpful, and I think it will help people open up more and be themselves more. Okay, take care, and thanks for joining me. Bye.